I decided to pivot my career at the worst possible time. And from there, it was just like, well, I want to make a game. I just discovered this amazing thing. And I feel like I finally figured out where I'm supposed to be career-wise, which has always been a struggle for me. So I was like, I just want to do it. Why am I waiting for all of these companies to get back to me, which they probably won't because there's a million of us looking for jobs. So I was like, why not just make a game? And it kind of blew up in my face in a good way, I suppose. I wasn't expecting to be a studio at all, and it kind of just happened, but I'm going with it. I, take it one day at a time, really, is what I'm doing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game Sandwiches Bite Level Talks. Today, we have a very special interview. I met Ayla probably about a month or two ago on LinkedIn. We've been connected. She is the creative director of Cave Bear Games, and they're doing some phenomenal things over there with their game Plantasia. It's a unique little game you can play on your browser. I wish I could be playing it now while doing the interview, but Ayla, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining me over at Game Sandwich.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yeah. No, exciting to have you. So, you started Cave Bear very recently, actually.
Yes.
So, and you're already at 10,000 or so plus followers and growing quickly.
Yes, on LinkedIn, we recently hit 10,000 followers, which is a huge deal for sure. So we're very happy about that. It definitely gives us some motivation to keep going, and hopefully people like what we do. They seem to so far, according to those followers. So hopefully we keep that roll going.
Yeah, well, I'm in the Discord too, and you've got a big community growing over there as well. Everyone's always talking about what they're playing or what you're doing at Cave Bear. You also started a partnership with a bunch of other studios. Like you've literally hit the ground running and haven't slowed down.
Yeah, thank my ADHD for that. I'm just hyper focusing all the way down the track. The partner program in the Discord really just happened because of the audience that we ended up having. We came from LinkedIn. That's where most of our followers are. So when we managed to funnel them over to Discord, some of them, a portion of them, they all almost happened to be juniors or people without jobs in the industry who were willing to volunteer on a project like our project. Mm-hmm. And obviously I couldn't take 800 or more people to join my team. That'd be crazy. Mm-hmm. But I wanted these people to find a volunteer position. I really enjoy volunteer positions. I think it's a valid way to gain experience. And so I was like, well, there's got to be other indie studios like us, and there are. So I just invited them in to this partner studio program, which is a little bit unofficial right now. We're still building it up. And now we have 16 plus indie studios, and they all have the option to find volunteers in our server. And I think the vast majority of them have found volunteers from our servers. So yeah, that's going really well. It's really exciting to be able to talk to all these other indie studios all at once who are kind of having the same goals as we do.
Yeah, and I've seen it. You've seen it for sure all over LinkedIn. There is hashtag Indie Revolution.
Yes.
I've been saying 2024 is the year of the indie for a while now, and I really, honestly, truly believe that we will see more rise of indie developing studios like Cave Bear and other partners and studios out there. So, what is it like starting? Is it safe to say from scratch?
Yeah, I don't know how more from scratch it could be. Decided to pivot my career at the worst possible time. The game industry in October of 2023. From there, it was just like, well, I want to make a game. I just discovered this amazing thing, and I feel like I finally figured out where I'm supposed to be career-wise, which has always been a struggle for me. So I was like, I just want to do it. Why am I waiting for all of these companies to get back to me, which they probably won't because there's a million of us looking for jobs. So I was like, why not just make a game? And it kind of blew up in my face in a good way, I suppose. I wasn't expecting to be a studio at all, and it kind of just happened, but I'm going with it. I, take it one day at a time, really, is what I'm doing.
So started out in education. So what was that? What was the one thing or the one game or one moment where you were like, I want to get into the games industry?
there was not, it was a moment. I've been a gamer my whole life, pretty much. I just never considered that the game industry was an option for me. It just never even came into my mind. And so what happened was I had a job that I wasn't happy at. And I was already thinking about leaving and not knowing what I would do next because I didn't enjoy education as much as I hoped I would. And I was with some friends during the SAG after strike, over in Hollywood,
Yep.
where, all the writers were protesting. And I was just talking with my friends about it. And I was like, oh man, I hope they don't stop making or writing games
Yep.
because they're not writing the movies right now. And that's when it kind of clicked for me. I was like, oh, people write games. Can I write games? And I looked it up, and narrative designer, game writer was a thing. Had no idea. I assumed I would need coding experience or something, which I'm just not good at. Don't have the brain for that. So that's kind of where it was that it was just over at that point. I was like, obviously, this is what I want to do. Turns out narrative design, game writing is one of the most competitive fields within the already extremely competitive game industry. So double whammy for me. I was definitely not going to be able to find a job as a brand new person with no game experience. So I went into my education for game industry. I started to learn all about game design and about the industry itself because I didn't know I was a newbie. And then again, like I said, I landed into this studio position just because I wanted to make a game and people liked my idea and they wanted to make it with me. And then LinkedIn really liked us.
Yeah. You hit that algorithm, you hit that network. I mean, it's all about networking. I mean, that's how we connected. I think I saw you talking about Cave Bear, and I thought to myself, that's a really awesome idea. As someone who runs the Game Sandwich website devoted to video games, I love talking to people like you. You
Great.
just have this idea that, hey, I can do it. I'm going to do it. And what's even crazier is you said to yourself, I've never made a game before, but I have a background in writing. I want to give it a try.
Yeah.
And then you had this domino effect of thousands of people are like, I'm on board. So how does that make you feel as a studio lead?
It's hard to have a feeling about it. I was just talking with my partner today. I was like, it's like every day someone comes to me and it's like, oh, I've been following Cave Bear. Like, we're so excited about what you're doing over there. And I was like, you know who I am and what I'm doing? That's crazy. I am just not used to that. That's not something that's happened to me before. I'm very happy. Obviously, it's been very exciting, probably one of the most exciting aspects of my life for something to happen to me. So that's fun. And I love talking to people. I found out networking in the game industry is pretty much the thing to do. Thankfully, I found that out early on. So I've been really good at networking the whole time. And I made some really good connections and mentors. And I believe that has for sure helped me run the studio. I don't think it helped me launch the studio. No one knew who we were. I hadn't talked to anyone about it. It was just something I was putting a post out on LinkedIn for, and I didn't expect it to hit the algorithm. I've never been good at any of the social media sites, so I just didn't expect that at all. And so I remember we were on call, a full team meeting the day I posted that, and we were just like watching the numbers go up as a whole team. It was crazy.
That's really exciting. So all 11 of you were sitting there on Discord or wherever.
Yeah, I think, back then it was probably 4 to 6. I don't fully remember. But yeah, it was very exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. And moving forward to, I the last time we talked, I was looking at your website and I was in awe of it. I really was. It's very well laid out. It's very fun. It's very pleasing.
I'm glad you think so. It was really bad for a minute there. Ask my programmer. He was on me about it. And I managed to revamp it. It's okay. It's pretty easy. It's just WordPress blocks, Not too bad.
Yeah, WordPress all the way. That's what I know. Because in researching, to learn more about Cave Bear and your studio and everything, what really grabbed my attention was that screenshot of just Plantasia.
Yeah.
It kind of drew me in. Of course, you show me the behind the scenes media kit and everything like that. But beforehand, I was like, what is this game? And then you were like, have you played Rusty's Retirement? I'm like, I haven't, but I'm very familiar with it because it's mega popular.
Yep.
So you're going the whole Rusty Retirement kind of play in your browser, play as you do other things route for Plantasia.
Yeah, so it won't be in your browser. It will be its own game. But like Rusty's Retirement, which is our main inspiration game for Plantasia, the game itself sits at the bottom like third of your computer screen, so that you can have the game running and playing, since it's an idle game, right? Yeah. Running and playing while you are working on the top half of your screen, whether you're scrolling LinkedIn or in Google Docs doing something. And so the game runs, idly while you're working. And if you need a minute to take a break, or have a distraction, and instead of going on TikTok or Instagram Reels for the next 4 hours, as we all do, I hope you will go instead to Plantasia for a couple minutes and interact with some plants, and then go back up and do some more work and be productive. And, yeah.
Yeah. So do you mind talking a little bit about like the elevator pitch for what Plantasia is and what you want it to be?
Yeah. I don't have my elevator pitch as down as I should be, I have to admit. But it is a solarpunk Mesoamerican theme. You are a botanist researcher in your orbital greenhouse lab, breeding and growing alien plants in order to send those plants down to these barren planets below you, to revitalize them. And you, as the player, are sitting at your desk, as you do, and while you're working, and you're looking out into the game screen, which is your orbital greenhouse lab. So you're looking out into your lab. There's no actual character in game or anything like that, or avatar, as you might say. It's just your lab, and you click on things in your lab to grow plants or move things, or there's going to be a decoration aspect as well, because it is a cozy game too. So we want you to be able to customize your lab. And there's going to be a bunch of fun little features, but it's supposed to be a casual indie idle game. And that's the goal for sure.
I mean, from what I've seen so far, and from, your passion for it, just from talking with you, and literally every day is something I see is you've posted on LinkedIn, whether you're networking or whether we're literally commenting on the same post.
Yeah.
Like
I love LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's the absolute best. I'm back to, social media. How has that impacted not only, Cave Bear and Plantasia, but you in general, and just outreaching? Because I know you also went out to a conference in the LA area a month or two ago, actually meeting in person. So was LinkedIn the cause of, you connected online and then you go to these people and meet them online? How has that all been for you?
That was super fun. Games Beat 2024 was awesome. Met some really, really cool people. But I also meet a ton of people on LinkedIn. I definitely meet more people on LinkedIn than I do in person. I'm in San Diego, which is great because it's close to LA and I can go up for the really big things. But I also don't live in LA. I can't go to those very casual meetups and stuff. And thankfully, San Diego has a couple of those sometimes, so I can go to those, and that's fun. But truly, I am better online. It just is a fact. I am better online. If I'm out, my anxiety is just up. It's just what happens to me. So I do prefer online. That's why I do like LinkedIn so much, because I just love talking to people. Yeah. I've met so many amazing, amazing, amazing people on LinkedIn. I really try to pinpoint those ones that know a lot and can help me out. And they do. They help me out. And I appreciate them so much. We are huge about mentors in Cave Bear because we are all juniors. And as an education, a teacher myself, I'm huge on education. So education is one of our core pillars of our studio. So mentors and finding mentors is something that I like to do for my team, so that they are constantly learning and improving on themselves. They have these great, amazing ideas, but everyone needs a little help and a little bit of polish. And that's what the mentors are for. We don't have like set mentors. I mean, everyone has like different people that they work well with. It's just about who I manage to talk to on LinkedIn and who's willing to help. And as I'm sure everyone in the game industry is extremely helpful and willing to help and do whatever they can for you, which has been super welcoming, because that's not how it is in education, or it's not how I experienced education, which, to be fair, I wasn't in it for super long. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't, I didn't reach out to people and they were more than willing to meet with me. So the game industry has been a huge positive on me in general as someone pivoting into the industry. I've loved it. It's absolutely where I'm supposed to be, for sure.
That's awesome to hear that you have built these connections and created this kind of networking where people are willing to help you out and you're willing to help others out. It's all
Yeah.
about networking and mentorship are two of the greatest aspects I found of this career as well.
Yeah.
Video games are my favorite thing in the world. Like I just, as I said,
Yeah. For
love
real.
talking to
Who
people
isn't?
like you. It's yeah. Um, and LinkedIn is probably, at least for me, the number one social site for building
Yeah.
these connections. Would you say, I mean, aside from LinkedIn, is there any other social sites that you use, or is that the one you go to just build these
No,
connections?
before LinkedIn, the only social media, like I have all of the accounts on all the media sites or whatever.
Hmm.
But the only one I used before LinkedIn was Facebook, and I would just doom scroll because I am basically a millennial, and so Facebook was my thing as a kid. And I would just like doom scroll. I'd be in groups or like see friends from years ago doing stuff. And I really wanted to get rid of Facebook because I don't like them. So I wanted to get rid of
It's
it, but I
fair.
couldn't. It was the only thing. TikTok helped a little bit because I, use TikTok, but I don't post on TikTok.
Hmm.
And so once LinkedIn came into my life, I'm like, oh, I can doom scroll on LinkedIn forever. I haven't touched Facebook since. So LinkedIn is the only social media I've ever been good at. I am terrible at Twitter. We have a Twitter now for Cave Bear, and I don't touch it because I am not good at Twitter. Blue Sky is the same. We have one. I touch that one a little bit because it's a little bit easier, but it's still, I'm not good at social media. So that's why it was really surprising that I was doing so well on LinkedIn. Um, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that worked out. It's obviously very helpful for everything I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Again, you exponentially shot up and grown. I am loving the Discord, loving what I'm seeing, enjoying K-Bear's games and Plantasia. I'm really excited for Plantasia. I know it's very early in the stages of development, so
It
there's
is.
not a lot you can say about it.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I can say some things. We don't have NDAs. I trust my people. And
right.
B, this was originally supposed to be a portfolio project anyway. So I'm not worried about my people telling people what they do on the game because that's what they were going to do anyway.
Mm,
It's just a little game. People are like, oh, someone will steal your ideas. I'm like, who's going to do that? We're already in development. It's going to take them longer to steal my idea and make the game than it is to just let me release the game. I don't know.
right.
I completely understand NDAs. If I had funding and I was paying people, maybe that would be different. But we're still volunteer for now, and I want people to be able to use their work to get a job. That's the goal, is to get a job at the end of the day. Hopefully, that means we're funded and I'm giving the jobs away. That would be amazing. But
Mm,
it's also just in case I can't do that, go somewhere else and get a job in games. That's the goal.
yeah, I
As
think.
for
Go
sorry,
ahead.
as for the game itself, other things I can tell you, we're working on the critical features right now, but we have a lot of ideas of fun things that we want to do. We have hopefully an ethics system, and I don't really know the
Oh,
right word for it. We've been using a lot of different vocab words to name this system, kind of like a modifier system. I like to say it's like the Diablo weapon system. Uh,
got it.
but we applied that to our plants. And so we're going to have an affect system. So the game itself can be very casual. You're just growing plants, breeding plants that you want to breed in order to finish the narrative story. But if you want to get really, really into the game, as some people really enjoy doing, you can with the affect system to create these hybrid plants and unique plants that are harder and rarer to find. If you don't want to do that system, it's totally okay. You can still get everything you need to get out of the game. So we want to have that casual feel, but also room for really deep play for the people who want that.
Yeah. Is it a, I'm blanking on the correct term, but like a never-ending game? Is there an end to it, or is there an end goal to it?
It is again so early in development.
That yeah.
It's hopefully a never-ending game. Right. We do have a story, but we want to have a sandbox mode once you finish the story. So basically, the goal of the game narratively is to restore this planet back to life based on the plants that you have bred for it and researched for it.
Mm,
And so that's the narrative. Whatever we write to get to that goal is the main story. But after that, we are hoping to be able to include the sandbox mode, which you've finished this planet, it's successful, it's happy and healthy now. Here's a new planet, completely randomized, everything
Yeah.
about it, and you get to choose like what plants you want to grow on it. Will that affect the look of the planet, customization, kind of stuff like that. And then you can just do that over and over again. Um, hopefully we can release DLCs and
Hmm.
release more plants and more decorations on a continuing basis. That would be cool too. Again, these things are all completely out of scope for what we're doing right now, but
Yeah.
hopefully if we get funding, then we can make those things come true.
Yeah, and funding is exponentially important to a developer like yourself. I know you're probably looking at publishers, but it's still in the early stages of that. So
Yeah.
I've been every other developers I've talked to, finding a publisher is like the biggest hurdle for them because it's all about pitching. And you said you're still working
Yeah.
on your elevator pitch. You've like I'm sure the game's been in talks for longer than you've been on LinkedIn. Correct me if I'm mistaken.
My narrative was my first team member to join me a couple of weeks after I had the initial idea and was seeing if I could even do it.
Mhm.
And he told me yesterday that we started that in February. Um, but then we officially started like pre-production April 1st with the majority of the team. And we've gotten a
Okay.
few people on since then. And it's meant to be a 6-month project. So April to October.
Hmm.
Once October rolls around, that's like the verbal contract that me and my team members have. It's like, oh, we'll work on this volunteer wise for free until October. So hopefully we're trying to get like a solid demo out by October, and then we can all go do our own things, talk about what we want to do in the future. And if I haven't secured funding yet, then maybe I can take that time to say here's our demo. We worked 6 months on this. Give us money, please, to make it better.
Yeah.
And hopefully they bite that. We'll see. There's also, you're talking about the indie revolution, which I am totally all for. Coming into the game industry, having not been in it before, all the norms, like everything that is like normal, like, oh, this is how the game industry works, are all new to me. So I'm still very in the mindset of challenging those norms.
Right.
So when it comes to investors and publishers, I don't know if I should say this in a public thing, but I tend to not agree with the way that they do things. Everyone's different. Obviously, I'm not pointing anyone out specifically. And I also don't know everything. I'm still learning about all of this stuff. Um, but I think what would be best for my studio is something a little bit more alternative when it comes to game funding. We'll see what that means. I'm looking at, there are definitely some companies out there that are doing things differently. Hopefully, we can succeed alongside them. It's all kind of up in the air, right? It's like whoever, I'm
Yeah.
also not being approached by investors being like, here, take my money. And I'm like, no, thank you. Like, I haven't been in that situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, if that came up, I would probably, think quite a bit about it. But Cave Bear Games as a whole wants to do things differently when it comes to, how you run a studio, how you make a game, how you treat your team members and your employees and all that fun stuff. We want to do it a little bit differently already, and that includes how we get funded. So thankfully the game right now is just a volunteer portfolio project, so if there isn't a way for us to get funding in a way that I feel morally good about, that's fine. We can just have a portfolio project that's really awesome and go along our way and hopefully get a job. But if I can succeed in getting funding in a way again that I think is moral, to my morals, aligns with my morals,
True.
that would be a huge achievement for me. And then, yeah, I really want to be able to give my people jobs. That would be sick, but we'll
That's
see, obviously.
I just hearing that whole discussion from you is you are very focused on your team. You
Yeah.
sound very passionate about everyone you work with. And, I think it was on LinkedIn, someone was asking, how is your team? How are they treated? And I saw a response from your team and everyone,
Yeah.
literally, Ayla, I'm kidding you not. Everyone I've ever seen on LinkedIn talk about you and K-Bear has been nothing but positivity.
I'm super glad. That's definitely what I'm trying to do. It's just who I am. I have tried very hard my entire life to be a good person. And I hope that doesn't sound like pandering or bragging or anything like that. I just obviously come from a background, and my background happens to be filled with a lot of not cool people. And I don't want to be like those people. And so I just do the opposite of what they do. And this is where I've ended up today. And I agree with you. People seem to like me quite a lot. I haven't heard any negative feedback too much so far, I think. Would be happy to hear it, to be honest. Would love to get the feedback. I love feedback. Please tell me what I'm doing wrong. I want to do it right. But yeah, it's been awesome meeting all these people because I really like them. They really like me. They like the game. They like Cave Bear. It seems I'm doing everything right. We'll see if that gets me anywhere. That's the real question. Hopefully.
I think
No way to know yet.
If you have the heart and the drive and the passion, I mean, you started in the games industry in October.
Yeah.
That's 7, 8 months ago, give or take my math. I'm a creative. I'm not a mathematician.
Neither am I. I don't know how long that is.
But just, sweeping through LinkedIn and sweeping through networking and everything. Again, only positivity. My background is the same way.
Yeah.
I don't do negativity. I don't do BS. I'm out. I'm here to lift people up. I'm here to
Absolutely
promote and engage with people who I find interesting and who are doing incredible things in video games.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we're not the only ones. It's the game industry, as I said before, I've been very pleasantly surprised, is filled with people like that. So I'm definitely not the only one out there being a good person. There are hundreds of other people that I have personally talked to who are like that as well and share my ideas and my beliefs. And that's why I think my goals are possible because there are other people in the industry who are thinking the same thing. And whether or not we have seen that yet in the industry, yet to be seen. Hopefully I can be a part of that positive change in how the game industry runs and is looked at. But yeah, we'll see how the indie revolution goes.
We'll see. I mean, I think it's been a slow and steady start, but like a rocket, you gotta have patience, and then eventually it'll take off.
Yeah.
I kind of want to touch one more on your background as a in the educational field. Just speaking with you, I get it. Like I feel it and I hear it from you. You love lifting people up. You love teaching. You love it's just it's a bright spark to see. Yeah, I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. Working in games can be very difficult. There have been thousands and thousands of layoffs.
Yeah,
and it's just sad to see. I felt like there's a new one each day on LinkedIn. Post on something, and it's just that's what I think the indie revolution is going to be, is the Aylas of the world pulling volunteers together that you just want to make something cool and fun, put it on your portfolio. Whether it ever takes off in publishing, you just get to do it yourself, and taking control gives you have so much power and freedom in that.
Yes, I'm huge about freedom. I definitely have a history of people with control issues. And so for me, I don't have control issues, I think, but I'm very into not people not controlling me. So the whole studio founder, it makes sense. I enjoy being in control of situations, but I try to do so in a way that is positive for everyone involved, not just for me, And yeah, I just want to make a game, and it was so hard before I launched Cave Bear, and I'm still unemployed and I'm still not making money. So I'm not in a different situation. But before I started Cave Bear and I was, job searching, I'd find these jobs and I'd be like, yeah, I think I can do this. But the thing is, like, I'm sure that there are a lot of other people out there who are going to apply for this job who can do it better than I can and have like more experience and all that. That's jazz. And so I would apply to some and then I wouldn't apply to others unless I felt very strongly about it. I was definitely not someone who was putting out hundreds of applications. That is stamina that I do not have. So I'm thankful Cave Bear Games has kind of let me do something a little bit different than doing that. But yeah, it's especially hard for juniors in the industry because there are so many non-juniors that are unemployed because of all the layoffs. And so I wanted to create at least a little bit of an opportunity for a few of us with Cape Bear Games. And now I'm definitely stuck with that. Our first LinkedIn post was like, we are a studio founded by and for juniors, and 100% meant it when I said it, and I still mean it. But it's definitely like you can never hire anyone with experience ever, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. It's just kind of a funny little hole that I put myself in. But people really enjoyed it, and that means that there's a need and a want for it, and I'm happy to fill that.
Yeah, I think you're doing a phenomenal job. I really think you are.
Thank you. I
Um,
try.
no, I mean, all we can do at the end of the day is try. All we can do is do our best, and you're lifting up other people, and that is something that is rare to see. I think if you just want to see some, maybe rare to see is not the correct way to say it, but I feel like I love the positivity. I love seeing that, and I'd love to get feedback from your other team members to see what they think of K
Me
Bear.
too. That's why I tagged them in that comment. I know which one you're talking about. Earlier today, someone was just like, I hope you treat your folks well. And they didn't mean anything by it. No hate on them,
Yeah.
of course. But I was like, I hope so. And I tagged like a few of them
Mhm.
and maybe putting them on the spot a little bit. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I do want that feedback. I was just thinking the other day, I was like, I should probably ask them if I'm doing okay as a leader, because I think I am. And so I haven't asked, but I do need to actually ask them and see if they have any feedback. But
Yeah.
my team is amazing. The thing is, my whole team is a lot smarter than I am. They certainly know a lot more about gaming than I do. I'm just happy to be that person that sticks to the game pillars and creates a scope so we don't go out of
Mhm.
scope. Happy to be that management kind of leadership position, and they can go and do the amazing creative things like that Plantasia image that you see on our website.
Mhm.
Our artist is just phenomenal. The game is
I
going to
agree.
look gorgeous because he's absolutely a genius. Aiden Bell, please hire him somewhere. He's a genius for sure. My gameplay designer is also a genius. My two programmers are the smartest people that I'm aware of in Unity. Um, Everyone is just so good. My community managers, like my audio director is phenomenal, and he totally understands like the vibe that we're going for. His stuff is so good. They're all amazing. And I'm here and I'm also doing a good job. I can't hate on myself too much, but they are definitely the ones creating this game. And I'm so excited to see this game after they're done with it and play
Yeah.
it. Like a
I
dream come true to have my own custom little game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of it. I'm excited to check it out. Whenever you get a demo or preview or anything,
Hopefully soon we'll have a prototype and then we can QA a little bit.
I'm excited to see it.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask one or two more questions. I'm trying to get
Sure.
to some fun ones.
Okay.
Quick lightning round. How about that?
Sure.
Where did the name Cave Bear Games come from?
I'm glad you asked. So my name is Ayla. You may have noticed that it's not the most common name you've ever seen in your life, but it's from a book called Clan of the Cave Bears.
Okay.
So that is also where Cave Bear Games comes in. It's a fantastic book. It is about a human girl named
Hmm.
Ayla who gets adopted by a Neanderthal tribe after she gets like lost or something or abandoned. And it's her growing up and it's her defying the, stereotypes
Hmm.
and mostly, patriarchy kind of stuff. So obviously, as a fellow woman, I resonate with that. And yeah, but it's also just a really good book. And I like my name a lot, to be honest. It's a cool name. And so Cave Bear Games came pretty naturally, pretty easy.
Oh, easy. I mean, my favorite animal is a bear, so like easy peasy.
Amazing.
How about your favorite animal? Is it also a bear or is it something else?
It's an octopus, actually.
Octopus. Okay,
Yeah,
I take
I
it.
like marine stuff, the beach, and
Hmm.
octopi are super smart and cool when they change colors, and that's neat.
Yep, I saw a cool video of an octopus the other day.
Yeah,
It led an archaeologist to a underwater gravesite.
they're so smart.
Yeah. Uh, Favorite, most inspirational video game you ever played?
Inspirational, like
You could
kind of
take that.
inspiration.
I would say like a Rusty's retirement because that was the inspiration for
Well,
Plantasia.
we do have another inspiration game for Plantasia. It's called Plant Tycoon. It is a 2007 game. Very old, very simple game, but the mechanics are really what we're going for. I loved that game as a kid. Absolutely my favorite game. I just loved it. You just grew plants and you bred them together and then you sold the plants. And the story was like you're supposed to discover the 6 secret mythical plants of this island. I never got that far. I wasn't actually still not very good at video games, to be honest. So I never finished the story, but obsessed with that game. And then once I saw Rusty's retirement and, it's on the bottom of the screen, I was like, oh, Plant Tycoon would be amazing in this format because it in itself was a precursor to a mobile idol. It was before mobile games were a thing. But it was, teetering on that idle thing where you would close the game and then come back hours later and your plants will have continued to grow. So
interesting. Ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time. Yeah. And there's actually, it was so funny. There's another game. I have it right here. You might be able to see the name. It's also Plantasia. We found this a couple of months into the project. The same thing. It's just like it's basically a mobile little puzzle game, but it's before mobile games were a thing. So it's just very similar. We found it several months in because it basically doesn't exist. I had to get this off eBay. It was like one copy. It was like $6, but I had to get it. Like I can't just take the name and not buy the game, do
anything with it. Yeah. That's really fascinating. That box art looks really cool, by the way.
I know, it was cute. I really like it.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
That's cool. Now we're running out of time, so I'll leave the last question I ask everybody. Where can we find you? And what else would you like to say?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, Ayla Derrick. I spend a lot of my day on LinkedIn. You can also find me in the Cave Bear Games Discord server. We have around 1,500 people almost, I think, in there. We would love to have you join. I'm sure links will be posted somewhere.
Links will be posted. You made a really cool link thing, so
I didn't put Discord in there though, but
I can toss it in.
We can toss it in.
Add it. Yeah, why not?
We do like Cave Bear Games now. It has like a link tree with a bunch of other links for Blue Sky, Twitter, Reddit, TikTok. We're already starting posting on Twitter and Blue Sky, and we're going to start posting on TikTok here soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, for me personally, just find me on LinkedIn. That's simply where I'm at. And happy to chat with you. Feel free to connect with me. Anyone who's watching this, say hi. Yeah.
Say hi. She is an absolute delight to speak with, Ayla. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. It's my first little interview. I hope there will be more, but I'm super excited to work with Game Sandwich in the future too. So hopefully we can get some articles out there eventually when we actually have news on the game, because right now we don't have too much.
There. But yeah, anything you want to let me know, I'd love to cover it.
Of course.
Super
I will let you know for sure. Other than that, I hope you guys keep an eye out for Plantasia. We have a lot of our audience are game developers and people wanting to get work in games, and that is great. And we love them, and I'm trying to help them as much as possible. But we also need people who are interested in the game itself. So we would love to hear your questions in our Discord or on our Twitter or wherever, and be able to share more of Plantasia's art and audio and all the fun bits with you guys soon.
Yes, definitely. Go check out Cave Bear Games. This is to the viewers. Check out Cave Bear Games. Check out Plantasia.
Please.
Go to the Discord. Go to LinkedIn. Go to Blue Sky. Blue Sky's pretty great. I'm enjoying
Blue Sky.
it. So yeah.
Twitter? Nah.
Whatever. Ayla, thank you so very much.
Thank you.